Welcome everyone to People Are Dating. I'm your host William, and on today's show I have two of my friends, Dana and Gerald. How you guys doing?
We're doing
Fine and
fine.
yourself. Fine.
I'm
How's
good.
everybody?
Well,
Good.
it's nice to talk to you guys. Folks, I know Dana and G for a long, long time. I think Dana, I know her for at least 7, 8 years, maybe. Does it go further than that, Dana? Probably, right?
About, yeah, maybe 10 solid, I probably would say.
Yeah. Same thing
About
with
10.
G. About 6 or 7.
Seven, yeah,
Yeah,
7 years.
something like that. Anyway, so today's topic is, what does your partner bring to the table? When you go out with someone especially at the beginning, you got a solid job, you got a decent income, you got a nice home, but let's be honest. What is your partner bringing to the table? So what do you guys think about that?
I like that topic. It makes a lot of sense because we all have like these great expectations sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and it's mostly our expectation, not too much of the person. Is I think as you get involved with a person, you don't want to ask them or not like that. So I always think like it's best to ask them in the beginning.
Yeah. What do you think, Dana?
What do you bring to the table
Right.
No,
besides?
absolutely. I think that's like
But for you, Dana, right?
base.
You're the woman right here of us
Yeah.
three. You like I know you for let's say 10 years. That's like we said, and you got a job. As far as I know, that I work with you, you always bust your ass. You always want people to do their part, which is fair. And same thing whether it's a job or someone that you're dating or living with. So, like from a woman's point of view, how do you see it?
Yeah.
I don't know. From my perspective,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know, because I expect so much of people that I have to stop doing that. That's like my little downfall because I guess
But that's expectation.
But that's
Your
okay.
No, I
expectation
know.
might be so high, but the question is this: what does the person bring on the table beside these 5 things I'm going to mention?
Mm-hmm.
Emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, and sexually. That's
Yes,
6
those
things.
are important. Yes, those
Those
are
are,
important.
and
Absolutely.
remember, one can lack in one of these things. And
All right, so there's six
from
topics.
a woman perspective, right? She meet a guy, not the expectation. What do you want him to bring to the table beside himself only? Because remember, beautiful is beautiful. You look cute,
Well,
you're tall, all that
well, he
stuff.
has to have some type of spirituality. Definitely, I think we need that. I need transparency, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense.
Of course, financial, the aspect of that, how they deal with money and so forth, family, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Um,
I agree. I think so far you make some good points. Yeah,
what
go ahead.
about yourself? No, I'm just saying.
I mean, for me, yeah, and listen, I would definitely want a woman that definitely works, could bring her own, and I don't mind when I go out paying for the dinner. You know, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 times. I mean, on occasion, I would like her, to pay up, or even at the beginning, no. But once we establish a relationship, that it's always
No, I think it's supposed to be 50-50. Absolutely. Especially in the times we living in now.
yeah,
Like everything is so expensive and especially during the pandemic, prices have
yeah. We see
just,
it's gone up. Yeah, it's gone up.
and I just think that we're in a time now. I know some women, they want a man to do this, pay bills and all of this, but you have to bring something to the table. You can't just be a taker. You have to bring something too. You have to give.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I'm always a believer of karma. That if you just take, sooner or later, that person's gonna be gone, and then that's gonna happen to you. You might think you can prevent it, but if you fall in love with someone, and you expect that guy to, like you said, be 50-50, He's going to take from you, and you're not even going to see it because you're blinded by the love or the lust, whatever you
infatuation,
yeah,
those
exactly.
things. Yeah.
So I just think, like Gerald said, spirituality, financially, sexuality, just a lot of that, a lot of those topics or subjects are important for us because
I feel like even if somebody like Gerald said, like lack in one of the 5 or 6 things that he said, I believe that, if you're willing to work with the person, you can work on that. So,
yeah, no, I
because
agree.
I don't think anybody has the full 6 or 7 packages that, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's true. That's
So nobody's perfect.
Perfect.
I read this book a while ago called The 5 Love
Oh, I heard of that
Languages,
book.
and it was speaking of things like that. It was a therapist that actually wrote the book. Yeah, so it's like filling a person's love tank, you know what I'm saying? So and so forth, but whatever.
I
If you
like
didn't read
that.
the book, then
I,
whatever.
the
So,
Repeat that.
the 5 language of love. Dave?
It's called the 5 languages
the
of love.
5 is the 5 love languages.
Okay.
I think because some of us, we could be selfish, in a relationship where it's just like me, instead of considering the other person. I think that book explains to you, like, how people are in a relationship, what it's like a love language, basically, like that they speak. Like, for instance, I might be an affectionate person. I might want my man to always touch me. I'm probably the type that need affirmation, meaning to hear, oh, I love you, and all of these things. People are different. You got to figure out who you're dealing with and what vibe that.
That's a perfect
Yeah.
thing you just said about affectionate because, like you said, bring it to the table. I'm an affectionate man. I like touching and all that. But my partner at the time wasn't. It was like he was cold as ice. So that was my expectation of what you're bringing to the table. You're the same as me. So that was different going out with someone that wasn't the same.
Okay.
So
But did you try to figure her out, like what would give her? Because maybe she wanted the affirmation, but it's like 5 different things. So people are different. Some people like gifts, which is crazy, which I thought was a little materialistic, but those are one of the things too. Some people like to be lavish with gifts or whatever. That's their love language, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just different. Everybody's different.
Oh, wow. Good question. I think like I said, what she brought to the table at the time, she was very smart business wise. She knew her business from A to Z. But I think on the personal relationship, what she didn't bring to the table was not communicating about feelings. You could say I care for you, but to me that doesn't say anything.
Absolutely.
I care for my job. I care where I live. And you say, "Oh, I care for you." That doesn't tell me anything. That just says that you like me as a friend.
Yeah, you speak in other words, probably type situation, or just like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, people are different. Like, we living in a generation now, I would say that it's nothing sacred anymore. People are just in it for themselves, what they could get. It's like nobody really loves anybody. It's like if you have money, the woman gravitates to you and she only likes you because of your money, but not who you are and what you work hard for, and that you're a determined person. Like, just not looking at the inner things, like they're just looking at, so.
But there are people. There's still people out there that that.
I think it's
It's
harder to
very
find
rare.
though.
It's like a needle in a haystack.
I think
Okay,
it's harder to find, in my opinion, as a man, because I said, and I talked to Dee about this a while ago about some of the relationships I've been to, where one woman, I guess her thing that I didn't bring to the table was because I lived in a housing project.
Right.
And she mentioned it. Oh my God, you live here! I can't believe it. And that doesn't make a man or a woman where to me.
Yeah.
I understand. You don't know our circumstance why we're living here for the moment. And so I guess her expectations me bringing to the table was a place where I lived at. But how about the man? So, and I think I think she didn't see that. She was blinded by, where I lived at, not
Okay.
what I could bring to the table, you know?
Right.
So I
Well, was
yeah,
anything ever brought up? I know you guys were together, but was it brought up as far as like if she didn't like your area or your community where you live? Like, did she try to say like, "Oh, let's get something together" or something like that? Because I
no,
think that
we
can.
were no, that's perfect. What you said, it wasn't even like that because that was the first. We had just started seeing each other, maybe let's say 2 weeks sooner, right? And we went to the movies. We started hanging out. We met through some mutual friends. Then I had hurt my knee. So this was in 2016. I hurt my knee. I was out for a couple of weeks. So she had come to visit me. She said she was going to cook something for me. So I said, okay, nice, nice. So I gave her the directions to get here. I didn't. Was I supposed to warn her where I
No.
No,
was
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
right.
Absolutely not.
So
No.
when she came up here, she goes, "Oh my God, you didn't tell me you lived here, blah blah blah, in the project. What's going on?" And I'm like, "Geez, I mean, I got so pissed, I wanted to throw her out."
Wow.
And
I
after
don't blame you.
and after that point, from that point on, we never spoke again. I
Wow.
tried to call her, and she would not pick up. So obviously, to me, it was
Wow.
all about gold digging or whatever.
And status and where you,
Status.
It
yeah, I
was.
get it. Yeah.
I think it was really her expectation
Yeah.
because she
Well,
didn't get.
for her, I guess I didn't bring to the table a decent place.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's more like that expectation, which we all get into sometime, and it's not what you could have bring to the table because she never really had a chance to even
But
have a
the thing is,
conversation with you.
right? But the thing is, she just saw where I lived at, and then
Yeah,
And
that's
ran for the hills. Yeah. It's
exactly
like,
because
yeah.
she didn't look at. I'm 2 blocks away from Central Park. I'm across the street. Excuse me, from Mount Sinai Hospital.
Or she didn't look at the fact that, oh, he's a bachelor. I mean, he has his own pad. He's trying to do,
yeah.
what he got to do. I mean, nobody's perfect. God damn. I don't know. I just feel like some things are overrated. And it goes back to people just wanting to date people because of what they have. It's nothing genuine anymore.
I
And that's the
agree.
sad part. That's the sad part.
And I think too, you have certain women that are used, like you said, it makes perfect sense where they're used to certain guys might have the money or the status, and then all of a sudden they see themselves lowering themselves. Oh, I'm going out with a guy that lives here. I'm going out with a guy that has a 9 to 5. Wow, my last exes that had their own business. They were a lawyer or they were an investor or they were, some type of professional. Okay, then so then you got to stay with that. That's what you want. Then if you don't want to lower
I think you
yourself.
should have. I think you should have. Have yourself around those type of people. Then.
Yeah, no, exactly. And we were running in the same circles. And this was in 2018, but I just had started learning to invest in real estate. I have bought some real estate stocks, like for our 403B. You're learning as you go. I was a late bloomer, but I guess growing up in her past, she was just used to certain things, or like Gerald said, her expectations were through the roof, and I couldn't, how you say, get to those expectations fast enough for this person.
Well, the way I look at that is like it was not you per se, even where you lived at. It was more of her because if she was like whatever that world she was, it seemed like being around certain type of people like lawyers, whatever. Her expectation is still not there either. So is it because where you lived at or that other side? Let's say I'll put it like this: the project in the townhouse, and she's still in the same situation. So what is it? Is it those two places, or is it her?
Right. Good point. Yeah, it could have been her, for all I know.
Because if like she was like, "Oh my God, Will, you live over there," but hold on, you hang out over there, so why is it that you haven't? Why are you looking at Will in certain ways? That
Right.
means that it's her. It's not these two areas. It's basically her.
Yeah.
She probably have to look at herself because it doesn't matter where if Will had lived in a townhouse or in
Because we ran in the same circles. We ran in the same
Right.
circles.
So that means that is not you or even those other people that's around. It's something of her. And we
Right.
all are like that sometimes. You know, we tend to be kind of prejudiced sometimes. Like, oh, God, you live in Brooklyn. I don't know. You know, that's just the human nature of things.
I
Sometimes
just
we
think
have
that's
to,
silly, though. I think it's the individual. I think if you had a conversation with the person and you're
yeah,
attracted to the person, I mean, it should be the personality and what brought you to. I don't know. I mean, I guess if you see certain things that you don't like in an individual, a person might pull back
Yeah.
or whatever. But you dodged the bullet. I mean, what can I say?
Yeah, no, and listen, and it's funny because I remember a few months or a year later, I can't remember the exact time frame. I saw her again with the group of people that I was
Mm-hmm.
hanging out with, and
Mm-hmm.
and you know what? As a gentleman, I said hi, but I
As
kept
you
my
should.
distance. I kept my
Mm-hmm.
distance, and that's it. I said, you know what? Um, I always believe what goes around comes around,
Mm-hmm.
and I just let it go. I wasn't into like, oh, why, what happened? I knew because what she said was,
Mm-mm.
oh, Willie, you don't bring this to the table. You don't live in a townhouse or like Gerald said, oh, you don't live in a fancy apartment. That's okay,
Mhm.
cool. Then go for whatever
Mhm.
you want, man. If that makes you happy,
Mhm.
and that's your spirituality of someone's place, and you're looking for fame and fortune,
Do
then I'm
you
not going
think
to.
at your age, do you think it's difficult to find relationships now?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think, especially now that I'll be 59 soon, there's a lot of women. Don't get me wrong, that I meet that are in the late 40s, early 50s.
Mhm.
But I think I don't even know if we talked about this years ago. Um, you're used to a certain level now. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like you're molded into that person that you are now,
You
and
stuck in your ways?
exactly.
stuck in your
Mhm.
way.
And I think
Okay.
it's the
Mhm.
same way with women and guys.
Mhm.
And I'm more flexible than I was, let's say 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
But I still got my routines that I like to get up in the morning, take a shower, have breakfast, and,
Mhm.
give myself that leeway
Mhm.
to get to work. In the afternoon,
Mhm.
when I come home, I like to relax a little bit and then do my stuff. But
Mhm.
I'm flexible enough to like, hey, what do you want to do? Sure, okay, let's do that. But yeah, I think it's difficult now, especially when you get to this age. Now,
Mhm.
when I've gone to a bunch of singles events, I've met women, and we exchange phone numbers, and then when we go out, unfortunately, because the expectations, like Gerald said, are high for both of
Mhm.
us, we don't give each
Mhm.
other a chance to like move to the next level where it
Mhm.
could be a second or third date. So I think yes, for me personally, it's harder. Um,
Okay.
and I mean, it is what it
Do
is.
you think you contribute to you being single though?
Oh yeah, I say maybe 80, 90% of it, especially this
Okay.
because like what I went through the last couple of relationships, I said, I need a break. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I
I
get
just
it. Cause yeah,
I
you
need to
need that
work.
reflection time.
Yeah, exactly. So I said, let me
Mm-hmm.
work on myself. Let me try to be a
Gotcha.
better man, and but at the same time, I think a lot of us don't observe what's happening on the other end. Like
Mm-hmm.
and like I told you, there's some women that I've gone out with that I shouldn't have gone out with. I
Mm-hmm.
heard I listened to her what she talked about, but I didn't hear it. In other words, it just went in one ear and out the other. Because it was
Okay.
my emotions that I wanted to be with her, not like, oh my God, she's giving me all these warning signs. You know,
Okay.
what
Okay.
did I make sense there?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said, it's definitely a little bit.
Because
Uh,
sometimes I'm just saying, because sometimes people will be like, oh, you're single, like you're a bachelor, you live alone. Some people get comfortable with that. And when you get into a relationship, it'll be like, I'd rather just go back into my shell and
I've
not
done that before. I've done that
deal with
before.
the dating thing. Yeah.
I've done that before. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Where I say, oh, you know what, but the last lady that I went out with, I wanted to be in the relationship. I wanted it to work,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
she wasn't, she wasn't feeling it. And I think it could have
Okay.
Okay.
been said on her side because anytime I try to bring up our relationship, she would deflect. She would change the subject.
Wow,
And
wow,
that's when I
wow.
said, for me personally, you know what, this ain't working. I'm just gonna slowly back out. And I
Mhm.
remember one day she called me. She goes, "Oh, if I don't call you, you don't call me." I said, "Well, I'm busy." And
Mhm.
and to me, that was telling you. I should have told you straight out, but basically, I'm done. I'm just gonna be your friend, and that's it. Because that's basically what you want, not
Yeah.
what we want or what I want. So
Right.
I backed out, and I didn't feel bad. I didn't. I just it just took me too long to realize that when she was talking to me about certain things, like I said, I listened, but I didn't hear her. And
Mhm.
that's the thing,
Mhm.
when we talk to people, we gotta hear what they're saying,
Absolutely.
because
Yeah, absolutely, I
right, D,
agree.
because most of them will tell us right off the bat how they are,
That's true.
you know, and
Yeah,
it's
that's what I'm saying. Like the first 5 minutes of a conversation, you could kind of know a person and kind of,
yeah, I
I
think you're
guess,
right. I think you
yeah,
could.
before you go forward. Like I believe people show you signs, and then you got some people with the whole 90-day thing. They'll put up this facade like they want this, they want that. After 90 days, you'll see the true colors. That's not what they really want or about. But I do believe in conversation, asking those certain questions. And I feel like as you get older, I believe there's no room for the little play in and stuff. Just be direct. Fuck it.
Yeah.
We got one life to live, and I'm pretty sure you don't want to get old and be alone. You want to have a
No, definitely
partner,
not.
someone you grow old with. So
I
I just
agree.
think it's important to just shoot your shot and just be just straight up with the person opposed to just playing.
Yeah, no,
So.
I mean, my God, D, that's like so perfect. Because it's true. You got to shoot your shot. You got to
Mhm.
say right up front what's going on. And with this
Mhm.
woman, I should have, and I didn't,
Mhm.
because I was blinded by the fact that I was single for a while, and I said, you know what, I want to be in a relationship, and it was the wrong relationship. And I'm not blaming her.
Mhm.
All on
Mhm.
her. It should have been both of us. Should have just stood friends and just went our separate ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was something that we shouldn't have got into, because I wasn't meeting her uh, expectations, what I brought to the table, and vice versa. And I don't hold
Okay.
no ill will towards her. I hope she finds what she's looking
It's just a
for.
learning experience.
Exactly. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like
Hopefully.
sometimes we go into relationships, and afterwards we don't think what we could have done differently, or not even done differently, but what we shouldn't bring to the next relationship. Just think
Mhm.
about, like you said,
Mhm.
the reflect. What was it that I did or didn't do?
Mhm.
Yeah.
What I could have done better. You know what I mean?
And another thing is know what you want. Like some of
Yeah.
us, we really don't know what we want. Know what you want first. I think that's what that whole just being alone and the whole just being by yourself. Meaning, like when you leave a relationship, doesn't mean you have to jump into another one. That's your time to reflect, get yourself together, and know what you want for your next relationship, and just be firm about it. Like the next time, you know what I mean?
That's the key. I agree with you 100% because sometimes, like, if one relationship didn't work and then we're ready to jump into something else,
Mhm. Mhm.
we don't really get the time to spend to know what, how they say in the book, know thyself.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
And
important. It's
sometimes that's the
important.
hardest thing for us to know ourselves, because sometimes
Mhm.
you might find out that you don't like chicken, period.
Mhm.
You may be doing it because
Something.
everybody's eating chicken or
Mhm.
whatever it is, or drinking this. But if
Mhm.
you give yourself a chance to say, you know what, let me spend time alone to get to know me and not feel those things no more, and say, oh, guess what? I really didn't like that color blue. I hate that color.
no,
And
it's your criteria. We all have a
Mhm.
criteria,
Mhm. Yes,
and
we do.
and you got to stick to that criteria.
Mhm.
I want this,
Absolutely.
this, yeah. So I think that's important. Welcome to
question.
People on Dating. I'm talking to
You
Gerald and
said
Dana.
question?
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Since
Oh.
you and Dana are single, right? Both of
Mhm.
y'all, right?
Mhm.
So what is it? How is it out there as far as your observation of dating and meeting people?
Well, I'm gonna be
Uh,
honest. I haven't been going out due to the pandemic, so it's been a little difficult meeting people. But I'm not stressing about it because I'm taking this time, like I said, to just know me, know myself, know my wealth, my worth. Sorry, and
Right.
to just love me more. You know what I'm saying? Love on me, and it's not a bad thing, and I'm not upset about it. Because before, I would say maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, I was like yearning to be in a relationship, and I believe Will and I, we would talk about this, and also me and you as well, Jared. I'd be like,
Right.
oh, I want a relationship, and this is that and the third, and just wanting that. I'm at peace with that now. I'm okay with it. I feel like whenever the good Lord is going to bless me with somebody, they will come. But I believe like this is the time that I just need to get Dana in order, Dana together, whatever that may be. And that's just that. I'm cool with it. Whenever it happens, it happens. So I'm
So,
not like stressing the whole relationship thing at the moment.
so
Yeah, I gotta agree with Dana because I'm the same
okay.
way. Because after the last relationship, I just took, which was pretty much end of maybe 2019, at probably near the end of the summer, I decided uh, that was it. I started going out to singles events and everything, and I met a few women, nice ones. But once the pandemic hit, I kind of took this time all of last year just to reflect and just work on myself, work on what I want to do for my side hustles. And it's good. I definitely want to be in a relationship, but at this moment, like I agree with Dana, you know, let the good Lord bring that person to me, and we'll see what happens. Simple as that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. When the
I'm not gonna
pandemic
force
is
it.
over, I will definitely be out. I mean, I see people on a regular and handsome, attractive men, but I'm not like trying to go for anything. I'm just chilling. I'm
Okay.
good with. I
Yeah,
just
me
wanted
too.
to
I
ask
agree.
you though before
Yeah.
we, get out if we have to stop soon. Jared, how is it for you? Getting married at a later age opposed
Oh,
to.
matter of fact, I had to ask my question that like I think last year, and what I realized when you meet that person, it's not the perfect person, but when you do meet that person, and you see certain things that you know that each one of us knows that like I don't know what's the word. It's like I know this financially, spiritually, and a lot of things. It's like
Mhm.
working out for me, and where I don't have to like I'm not stressed. That's another thing. I realize I'm not stressed. I have a conversation. Um, the marriage is like it's almost like how you call it, like a business in a way, but not really. It's like everything I do, I have to refer to her, and she refer to me, and it works. It's not perfect, but it works because
No,
I
I
guess
get it. I get that.
we
I'm
both
just
have that
saying.
understanding, and
Mhm.
like when I met her, I had mentioned to her, I said, "Hey, what did you bring to the table besides this and that?" And I see it now.
Mhm.
It took me a while, but I get it.
Right.
I'm trying to
I mean,
understand.
marriage, I'm pretty sure is every day. It's a work in progress. You
Yes,
guys,
it is.
you learn every day. No, but my question is like, how is it for you? Like
At
getting
that age.
married late in age, like what was it for you? Like, your experience with that and.
My experience was I was kind of scared
Okay.
because I had different expectations, but then I had to get rid of that part. And when I got into it, and I was like, wow, this is work out for me, for my
Mhm.
experience. I can't
Okay.
say for anybody else. So
No, I get it.
age, I can't really tell you, oh, get married at this age or that age. When it happens to you, it's no longer the age no more. It's no matter. It's about like the journey you're gonna do with this person.
No, I
That's what
get
it's gonna
that.
be.
Yeah.
The
No, that
age is
makes
not
sense.
gonna matter because if the person wants to be with you, trust me, that age goes out the window, and you get to enjoy like a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of stuff you get to
No, I'm
enjoy.
just saying, as far as like finding that soulmate at your age, like the age, you know what I'm
Great.
saying? Not that you're old or anything like that.
Uh,
I'm not implying that.
no, no,
I'm just
no.
saying, yeah. I'm not implying
What
that
you
at all. I
saying,
was just,
D? What you saying?
What you trying to say? I got a
no,
game.
no,
No, I'm
no.
only messing with
But
you, D.
no, but blessings, but blessings.
Exactly.
I'm
It's a
happy
good
that
thing,
you're,
man. It's a
hmm
good thing. I always, I used to say, "Oh man, and when that's gonna happen? Am I gonna be this age? I should have done it already." But it
hmm
worked out for me because of my journey,
hmm
and
Yeah.
I'm blessed. That's all I can say, and I'm enjoying the journey. That's what it is.
And that's a
Because
good
I'm
point.
already happy with myself,
Yeah.
and I think the key, I think single people enjoy you. If you enjoy you, the person who wants to be with you will see it, and that's what they want to be with.
No, that's deep, Daryl. That's deep.
Because I had to be me in order for her to just to see me. Because if I was like whatever, then she wouldn't really get to see me. So I say, as a single person, be you, enjoy you, like just love yourself, be happy. Doesn't matter what, you know. Even if you're feeling like the need to be with somebody, understand it and say, hey, you know what, it's okay, but I'm still gonna enjoy me, improve me, and just love yourself. Because when you love yourself, trust me, the person who's looking at you, if they can't love that, they really can't be with you, because it's gonna be very difficult. They're gonna say, damn, why are you so happy like that? Why you do these things like that? But
Yeah.
guess what?
No,
I love myself. I love to go to the park and roller skate. I love to do my therapy and read a book. if if they can and see that, enjoy that of you, because they know that's who you are, it's not going to be easy. That's the way I look at these things.
Yeah.
You
No, that's
know?
deep, Daryl. That's good that you found it, because I think
Mm-hmm.
all of us want to find it. And obviously today's topic is what you bring to the table.
Right.
And I think, what you brought to the table was your happiness, that you loved you and you got a job and you're stable and, you got your head on straight. That's what you want to do. Like with D, when I talk to D, it's like, I know what she wants, because she puts it out to the universe. And I remember she told me that
Mm-hmm.
one time,
Yeah.
she told me that one time, I was with this lady, and this is like 10, 11 years ago, and
Uh-huh.
I know she wanted to have a kitten, and I told D I didn't want one. We tried, but I honest to God, I didn't want one. And she
Mm-hmm.
says, no wonder you guys are not happy, because you put it out there to the universe. And I really believe that. I always believed that. Well, let me
Mm-hmm.
say not always, but I started believing that more like 20 years ago, about what you say and how you say it, the universe will respond. And
And
she
it'll
was
be
Yeah.
right.
manifested. Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll
and she was
manifest
right,
itself.
because deep inside, I said, okay, let me try. On the outside, let me try, but on the inside, I'm okay not having kids. It never bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
Thought about it once in a blue moon. I can count on one hand how many times I thought about it. Wow, I wish I did.
And there's
Right.
nothing wrong with that.
And,
It's nothing wrong
yeah,
with that either.
and I was okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
At 20 years ago, 25 years ago, people look at you different, but that's because, they let society dictate, like, oh, you got to have a home and 2 kids and a dog or
Yeah.
whatever.
The picket
And I,
That's the
fence.
American dream. That's the
yeah,
American way.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, yeah, listen, don't get me wrong, I want to be with someone. Like I said, I'm
Mm-hmm.
working on just every day, what can I bring to the table? But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, I'm content with what's happening. I'm just working, like I said, every day to get better. You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm. That's all
uh,
you could do.
and that's all we could do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but if you guys have any other things to add before we go?
Mm, not really.
Well, basically, like what you said, G, and let's go over that list again. You said spirituality, physically, financially, sexuality, and what was the other two that you had?
I said physically, emotionally,
Emotionally, right?
spiritually, financially. It was six.
Yeah,
Sexually, and I forgot what the six was.
yeah. We have
Those
spirituality.
are, yeah,
So you had spirituality, physically, financially, sexually, and
emotionally,
emotionally. Yeah,
and one more, because those are
You
our
need,
six
and you
senses.
got to have communication as well.
Oh, that's it. That's what I meant. Communication.
That's definitely communication is key to a relationship. Some of us, we don't talk. We don't know how to talk to our partners. We don't express our feelings and have those sit down moments where we can move forward. A
right.
lot of
That is
people need to
key.
communicate. It's very important. It's
Yeah,
very
and
important.
you
You
can have
100% on that.
you can have all
Communication.
six, but not all six need to be at a 10. As long as
Right.
Absolutely,
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
true.
Hmm.
because I think if you look at all these, they all could be worked on.
Hmm.
Spirituality, physically, financially, sexually, emotionally. I mean, it all communicating. I think what Dana said is the biggest thing. That's got to be number one on the list, because if you don't have any communication, you're silent. You can't read your partner's mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I think like sometimes even, it might sound a little silly, but like even if like relationships, like especially if you want to move forward, get married and whatnot, I believe like at least once a week or once every other week or maybe once a month, maybe, you guys can sit and have those deep discussions about things that, you know what I'm saying? I believe like partners should do that. Just have
Yeah.
sit down and talk and reflect about this, that, and the third, and what we could have done better and things like that, like a catch-up type, situation, if it makes sense.
No, it does.
It makes sense.
I think that's good.
And one last thing, most importantly, I think is like the element of the whole, like if you're married and if you, like I said, and you're in a relationship and you do want to move forward with the person, I'm not trying to get spiritual, but always have God in between your relationship, because he's the bondage of your relationship, because we have a habit of telling this person, oh, this person did this and this person did this. You guys are bringing outsiders in a relationship. I think it's most important if you guys pray together and just keep God in your relationship. I definitely believe that, everything will work out. And
I like that. I like the fact that you said, which is true, sometimes we bring outside people into the relationship.
Oh yeah.
And they're not going to help us because they don't know our situation. Everything
exactly.
internal.
Because when you're telling your side, you're telling your point of view. The other person has a point of view, and then it's the truth. So why not just pray about it? You guys could pray about it. You probably don't have to do it together, but in your own way with God and conversation with him, you could pray about X, Y, and Z with your relationship, and she can do as such. But to have other people in, because all they're going to do is fill your head with what they think, and that's not what you want. So, and when you get married, and like I said, if you're trying to work on a relationship too, get married. God is, like I said, he's he binds the relationship. So I think you should pray and give him all, and he will give you guys the answers to move forward in a spiritual way.
G, any final words?
Final words. Like I had mentioned earlier, it is you, the individual, that has to be happy the most in order a relationship to happen. Because if you didn't, the way you meet someone is through the individual first before it became one. That means that you had to do something. You had to approach, or they saw something. So you have to be happy for yourself, regardless. And if you have God in your life, that will manifest too. That will show. And in relationship, we all have to understand this. There's going to be different type. We have to experience it because we are human beings. Not all of it we're going to like, but it's okay to say, hey, I experienced that, and move on. Never bring back whether it was good or bad. Once it's over, it's over.
Right.
Like for example, you had mentioned the lady said, oh, I have an ex that live here. She's bringing back her past to you. You don't really care for that. You're like, well, it's me and you right now. Let's just move on. Let's work on that part.
Right.
So love thyself the most, the utmost.
No, that's deep, man. That's good. And my final word is be open to communicating, be open to spirituality. Everything else will fall into place, but the communication and being spiritual, the other four things we could work on, the physically, the financially, sexually, emotionally, that to me, communication, emotionally and spiritually, those are the top three things that we have to work on all the time. I think when you get to know someone, be open to what they have to say. Let them be open to what you have to say, and then from there there's the middle ground, and from there you go forward. I don't care what you did in the past. You did what you had to do, but let's now, from this day forward, it's about us. Forget about the past. And that's it, pretty much. Just
That's it.
I agree with Dana. Communication is the biggest thing
Mm-hmm.
that we have going for ourselves, because then from there we could solve our problem.
That's right. Love God, love thyself, and love each other. That's all we could
Exactly.
do.
Well,
And
There you
also be open to change, because
yes,
sometimes
That's
change is
exactly.
yeah.
needed.
That's a good one. Yeah, always be open to change. Yeah,
That's
Mm-hmm.
because
true.
it's always change and new ideas. You know, we can't be
Mm-hmm.
stuck to what we've learned in the past, because it might not get us free in the future. So,
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
anyway, I want to thank Gerald and Dana for being on People and
Yes.
Dating.
Thank
This
you for having me.
was a
Me
great
too.
conversation, guys.